training session that addresses the latest changes to our industry. The goal today is that you will take away the practical knowledge to stay compliant and legal and to have your questions answered by the experts. Your experts today will be Bonnie Deneen and John Vink. And I am Judy Butler. We will have a question and answer session at the end of the webinar, but if you have a pertinent question anytime during the session, please type in that question and we'll try to address it at that time. Now for the fun stuff. You should have all gotten an email from Jerry Rudolph in marketing with instructions on a YouTube video created specifically for you and related to our topic today. This is the first of many and was conceived and created by our newest marketing team member, Barb Musing. We would like your input on both the video and the content of the webinar and would appreciate it if you could complete the survey provided at the end of this session. Jerry, can you please start us off with instructions on how to get to the video?
Absolutely. Thank you, Judy. All you need to do right now is just to minimize this presentation on your screen and then bring up the email that I sent you earlier today, which was entitled Important Information for Today's Webinar. On that, there was a link to a YouTube video. So as soon as I'm done talking, everybody's going to bring that up and click on that YouTube video, watch the video. When you're done watching the video, please click to bring this presentation back up on your screen again. If you accidentally close the presentation, don't panic. It's no big deal. Just go back to GoToWebinar and sign in again, and we're all going to be on the same page. So it's all very cool. And in the webinar presentation, when you get back to that webinar screen, just click the raise your hand icon as if you were going to ask a question, and we will see that you are done then watching the video, and we will resume with the webinar portion of this. So that being said, if you can minimize this, bring up that YouTube video and start to watch that. And for any Stevens employee in a Stevens-owned facility, you have YouTube access today. So again, don't panic about that. We have made it accessible for you to see this video.
Okay, guys, there are a few of you calling in now to say that you can't see or hear anything. You signed on after we started the webinar, and what we were doing is viewing the new training video, so you wouldn't have seen or heard anything. I'm hoping that you're fully engaged in the webinar at this point. You can take a look at the video at a later time. Okay, I'm going to turn it over then to Bonnie Deneen.
Good afternoon. Jerry, can you go to the next slide? As you've seen and heard through the YouTube video, if you had a chance to watch that, or through some pulse information that we have sent out, as of May 15th, there are some changes that will be made regarding valuation. This change affects all shipments. They will all be released at full value protection unless the customer signs on the bill of lading specifically stating that they waive the full value protection and request basic valuation. Why are we making this change? This has been on an item that the Surface Transportation Board has been working on for a couple of years now, and was supposed to be effective in 2011, was postponed. The final decision date has been effective Tuesday, May 15th. The customer must receive in their order for service or estimate the two valuation options. All estimates must include the cost of the full value protection. This will give the shipper time this will give the customer time before the move to review their options so they can make a decision at the time of loading, where they will choose full value protection, which will be at a cost to them depending on the deductible they choose, or will be at basic valuation, which is no charge. Changes that have been made to the order for service, which will affect the customer. The valuation verbiage has been removed from the order for service. Previously, the order for service explained what full value protection was and basic valuation, and the shipper had to sign on the order for service to show which option they wanted. They will not be able to do that any longer. That verbiage has been removed from the order for service. In its place is a warning statement which tells the customer the estimate must include the cost of full value protection with no deductible, and that he or she must choose the valuation option on the bill of lading at time of loading. So they must sign the bill of lading for their valuation choice. The salesperson will have to review those choices with them at the time the order for service is completed. This screen is the verbiage that will be on all order for services. This is required by the Surface Transportation Board. All carriers have to put this verbiage on their order for service. We did not choose this, so as they're seeing other van lines estimates, they will see the same statement. The font, the bold, the all caps, those words have to be in that format. We cannot change that or adjust that in any way, shape, or form. To be compliant with this change, we have to match exactly what they have told us we have to put on our paperwork. So you will see this on the bill of lading, or on the order for services as we go forward. Additional changes for the customer and the salesperson: they must make sure the customer understands that they have to sign the bill of lading to make their selection for their valuation choice, whether it's full value protection or basic liability. If the customer does not sign the bill of lading for a valuation option, they will receive full value protection at the billable charge, which is based on $6 a pound times the weight of their shipment. In order to opt out of the cost of full value protection, the customer must select, initial, and sign on the bill of lading option 2, which is the waiver of full value protection. The next screen shows a sample of the bill of lading valuation section. And again, the font size has been enlarged, so this will, again, we can't change this. This is how we have to put it on our bill of lading. So option 1 is full value protection. Option 2 is waiving the full value protection and choosing the 60 cents a pound. The shipper must sign on there stating that they have waived the full value protection if they do not want to pay for those additional costs. And this again will be done at time of loading with the driver. This screen is a sample of the TechMate estimate, which should be available for all of you to download and update your TechMate. TechMate, sorry, don't know if they're, how to say that. You will see in the middle section there the green circle. All TechMate estimates will include the different protection options available, which for Stevens are no deductible, $250, $500, $750, or $1,000 deductible. It will include the maximum level of protection that they have to have on the shipment, which in this case, on this one they have chosen $10,000. And then the final column is the total price of the move, which includes the valuation options. The last line in that section is basic coverage, or 60 cents a pound, for which there is no additional charge. And right underneath of that, you can see the warning statement that we have to have on all of our estimates. The next screen is just a sample of the Stevens order for service. We are currently in the process of updating our order for services to get those valuation box listed on there with the different options. But this is to show you that we have removed the valuation verbiage that was on our previous order for services so that we are in compliance. To help the salespeople and the shipper, TechMate and Stevens developed a handy worksheet that will be with each of your estimates. In TechMate, you have the option to print this. The same will happen with the Stevens estimate. This is a recap of the exact verbiage that is on the Stevens bill of lading. It explains option 1, full value protection, explains option 2, waiver of the full value protection, and shows where the shipper will have to state that they have waived that for basic liability. The drivers are going to play a big part in this. We're going to need their assistance. All moves will be released at full value protection unless the customer specifies on the bill of lading that they waive the full value protection. The drivers need to be aware that the valuation information is no longer on the order for service, so they're familiar with when they're looking at the new order for service forms. The warning statement has been added to the order for service, advising the customer that they must choose a valuation option at the time of loading. The valuation section on the bill of lading has changed. The font is much larger than it was on previous bill of ladings. It's very detailed, giving the shipper the information about the two options. So the driver will need to make sure the shipper signs for one of those two options. Okay. The biggest change, the customer must sign the bill of lading declaring the type of valuation wanted at time of loading. This is the new requirement. The driver is going to need to make sure that that customer signs that bill of lading for evaluation. Again, if the customer wants full value protection, they declare the shipment value and the deductible amount under option 1. Or if they choose to not want full value protection with the additional cost, they must sign the bill of lading under option 2, which is the basic valuation. Yes, Judy or Jerry, someone has a question?
There's a question. Kurt, if we know when the updates will be available through TechMate?
The updates should be available through TechMate already. I was told they were out there sometime last week. They did have to make one minor change, but that did not affect the valuation. So it should be available now if you have the TechMate. And you can contact Tom or Pete at TechMate if you need additional information on that.
Just a note here. It seems that some of you were not able to view the new video using the link that we sent, and we're very sorry for that. we will resend it, and it's a fun video starring Maury Jr., and you'll want to go back and watch that. So we're sorry, and again, please take a look at it.
Okay, again, this is just a copy of what's on the bill of lading. For salespeople, you just need to make sure your shippers understand they have to sign this. Drivers, the driver must make sure the customer signs for their valuation choice. And again, if the shipper does not specifically choose basic liability, the shipment will be released at full value protection. If the customer has questions, they need to contact their dispatcher on how to proceed. Or to get the driver. I'm sorry. If the customer has questions, the driver needs to contact his dispatcher on how to proceed or what steps to take next. Now for John Vink, a little bit on claims information.
Okay, the customer must select the valuation option on the bill of lading. They have to have either the option 1, which shows full value protection and the deductible level, customers filling out which option they choose, plus they have to sign down there where it says customer selection. If they don't want to take full value and don't want to pay for full value, then they have to fill out the option 2, which is the waiver of full replacement value protection. That has a place where the customer has to initial plus where the customer has to sign for it. If they do not do that, then they are automatically going to have full value protection, and it's going to be charged to them. Next slide. Okay. We've got a lot of participants today. We're looking for you to type in your questions in the question field, and we will read it for all of us to hear and to discuss. Or raise your hand, and we'll take you off mute, and you can ask your question either way.
Kirk again asks, what happens if the booking agent is not available to help the shipper make the decision? What standard do you want us to follow?
Okay, we're asking that the driver call his dispatcher, okay? We're not asking you to, the driver to go seek out the salesperson or the booking agent, because sometimes that is a voluminous, time-consuming process that the driver on load day with 4 helpers standing around is not going to be able to take. So we're asking that driver to contact their dispatcher for direction.
Okay, Peter from OBO asks, what do we do with orders for service already signed and or sent to Stephen?
Those will be honored. This is effective for estimates done May 15th and after. So that's when you need to start using the new format. TalkMate has theirs available. IGC and CompuMove have theirs available. I'm still waiting to hear back from United Software and whether theirs are up to date or not. Stevens is working on it. We hope to have ours out as quick as possible. So if the estimate has already been signed, it will be honored at that. But anything done May 15th or after has to use the new format. Now, in regards to Judy's question, the question previously about what to do if the shipper has questions, remember, all of our estimates are going to include full value protection at no deductible. The order for service or estimate will show the shipper the options and the cost for those additional options. So make sure that as a booking or origin agent, you are making sure the shipper has a copy of their order for service, and that there's a copy scanned and uploaded to Stevens online. That will assist the driver if for some reason it's not in his paperwork packet when he gets to origin. He can go online and see that document to see what the shipper chose. So as a salesperson, you need to make sure you're explaining to them their different options so that we don't have a problem at time of load with the driver or the shipper saying to the driver, I don't know what option to choose. Yes, and once you get a signed order for service or estimate, remember you can scan and upload it the same day to Stevens Online. That way, everyone in the system has access to it. Operations, the driver, accounting, we can all see the order for service at that time. So if you need help on scanning or uploading, contact myself, Barb Bosley, or CAD department, and we'll work through with it. And May 16th, there's a webinar on how to scan and upload documents. So you should have received an invite or receive an invite shortly on that, that CAD will be putting on how to scan and upload paperwork, because that will be a big help to all of us going through this busy summer season.
Ronnie, the question is, if it automatically goes at full value because of no signature, who pays for the full value?
The shipper will pay for the full value. The order for service has to include the cost at full value protection at no deductible, unless the shipper states they want a different deductible at the time of the estimate. So they will be aware at that time that it is the cost of that. The Stevens estimates, as soon as you get the new updated version, will automatically include full value protection. You will not have to enter the information. We are working on it so that it will automatically include it in the cost of the final move.
John Hopkins from the Waterford office just notes that he updated his TechMate this morning, and those updates were not available. So
okay.
we'll do a loop around with that.
I will check that. Yep.
Gary Becker from Missouri asks, is the shipment released at a minimum of 6 times the shipping weight, or is it just a customer declaration?
It can be either. If the shipper does not declare they want $50,000 on their shipment, it goes at $6 times the weight of their shipment.
Under what deduction will the full value protection be charged?
If they do not choose a deductible, it will be at no deductible.
Chris Forrester asks, what is the process if the customer chooses no deductible at the time of the estimate but signs for a different deductible at the time of loading? How does the registration get charged?
It will go by the valuation options that the shipper signs for on the bill of lading, which again will be included on the order for service or estimate. The box will be there that will show the different costs of the valuation for each deductible. So if they choose on their bill of lading a $1,000 deductible, the cost of their valuation would be reduced to whatever the cost would be for the $1,000 deductible. Again, the shipper also needs to realize that if there's a claim, their claim settlement will be at a different amount because the $1,000 deductible will apply before no deductible.
Okay. So I would say that the same answer then, we have a question from Stevens headquarters. Between signing the order for service and the bill of lading, the shipper changes their mind on valuation. Does the bill of lading still take precedence?
Yes, the bill of lading is the final precedence. John, do you want to expand on that for claims?
The bill of lading is going to be the controlling document in all cases. That's one of the changes that's taken place with this new program. Is before, if you just had a signed order for service with valuation on it and the bill of lading wasn't completed, then that would control. But now the bill of lading is the controlling document totally.
Okay. Kathy Bacca asked, how about shipments that are PBO? Since the contents of boxes are unknown, how do we determine valuation? Example, the shipper claims that he has high value items, but the items were all packed by owner.
The high value items in the PBO program have not changed. If a carton is PBO, unless there's damage to the exterior of the carton, we're probably going to deny the claim. So PBOs are still not covered unless there's damage to the exterior of the carton. What was the other part of the question? I'm sorry.
The shipper claims that he has high value items, but the items are unknown.
The high value items have not changed. There's still a section down at the bottom of the bill of lading for the shipper to sign that they've seen the high value inventory. They've been told about the high value program. The shipper is still going to fill out the high value inventory for anything that's valued in excess of $100 per pound, and it will be our responsibility to make sure we have those items and to make sure that they are checked off at the time of delivery.
That's a good question.
Okay.
John, so what I'm hearing is that the protocol for settling the claim has not changed.
Correct.
So whatever we were doing before, John and his group will still be doing now. What has changed is what we present to the shipper, what we are mandated to advise the shipper of, but the claim settlement process has not changed.
Also, just would like to bring up the subject of the $140,000 cutoff. Anytime we have valuation in excess of $140,000, my department needs to be advised so that we can book coverage with our insurance company for that valuation. So you can call anyone in my department and we will take care of the valuation. No changes there. It is still at $140,000.
Robin has a two-part question. When entered in the rating system, does it automatically add the valuation with no deductible?
Currently, it does not. We are in the process of making a change to our Stevens tariff rating program so that it will going forward, yes.
Okay. The second part of your question is, also, are the updates ready for us to print the new information on the bill of lading?
On the Stevens system, no, they are not. IT is currently working on that.
By the date, by the mandatory date of the 15th of May, they will be there and ready.
Okay. Another question. Will it now be required to get a signed bill of lading to SBL online from the origin agent or driver?
It won't be required because we cannot bill until we get the driver's delivery paperwork. If you have one, you can scan and upload it. That would be great. But we cannot bill the file until we have the driver's signed delivery paperwork. So as long as we get a signed copy from him, that would be great. Now, if you're the pick and hold agent, it would be nice if you uploaded that at that time.
Okay. That is all the written questions we have. Just a few today. Well, no, there's another one I group here.
Is there anything else question-wise that we can?
Oh, yes, more are coming in. Quite more.
Okay.
Can we purchase the new bill of ladings on SBL online?
Not yet. We are in the final stages of proofing our document with Milburn to get them printed. We should have them. We are hoping we will have them available by the end of this week.
And just remember that you don't purchase bills of lading. We don't charge for them. You order them through SBL Online, but there's no cost to them.
Well, that might answer Kirk's question, which says, can we return an unused bill of lading with the old coverage and be given new bill of ladings at no cost?
Nice try, Kirk.
Somebody here in Saginaw asked, what if a bill of lading is not turned in?
Well, that doesn't happen very often. It does happen occasionally. But again, if we don't have a signed bill of lading stating basic valuation, it's at full value protection at no deductible. So the drivers need to make sure that they get a completed bill of lading signed by the shipper.
Okay, there's a response to that we shall not read. Gary, we may have to look at your question further. Gary says, a shipper has a 20,000 pound shipment. The shipper has, if the shipper could so choose to only put a $10,000 value on the shipment?
No, they can't. No, they cannot.
The minimum is $6 times the weight of the shipment. Minimum.
So what was the weight of the shipment? 20,000 pounds?
20,000. Yeah.
Then they have to declare a minimum of $120,000.
Okay.
They cannot declare a lesser value.
Okay. John Hopkins wants to know how we're going to let everyone know about the TechMate update.
I will
Send out a pulse.
we'll send a pulse item out.
Okay. Chris Forrester asked, is this a new process industry-wide, or is this just for Stevens?
This is industry-wide. The Surface Transportation Board issued this directive. It was originally to be effective April 1st. They allowed us to postpone it till May 15th to try to get ready for all of the changes that had to be made. But it is not just Stevens Van Lines. It is an industry-wide directive from the Surface Transportation Board.
No, I think we have one other that came in internally. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, if there's nothing else, just to check in again on the new technology we are trying out today, the video. If you saw and were able to view the video, could you please raise your hand now? And please remember to complete your survey at the end. Thank you so much for attending. It looks like a lot of you were able to view that video, and we hope you enjoyed it. And we're looking forward to hearing from you. And we will see you on the 16th. Thanks again.